interesting. Okay, so Bryan Edwards was traded a few days ago. I was about to record my next Madden game, and Bryan Edwards was traded. It was kind of a random, out-of-nowhere trade. Or so you think. Now, of course, I don't claim to have any inside information. I don't have any sources. This is just pure speculation on a Raider fan who's been watching the team forever and feels like he knows a thing or two about how they run their organization. And I know this is a new regime, but, you know, there are patterns in football that you can pick up on if you've watched for a long time. And I think the writing was on the wall for Bryan Edwards as soon as we traded for Davante Adams. You see, I like Bryan Edwards. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a solid player, and I wish him nothing but the best with Mariota in Atlanta. However, he has sort of had a rocky road career-wise up until this moment, and it's not entirely his fault. He was injured his rookie year, so last year was really his rookie year, and he didn't have crazy outlandish numbers, but he did make some plays to make you think, hey, that's a good wide receiver. And listen, I was one of the people that when we traded for Davante was like, how are you going to guard him and Renfro and Edwards and Waller? I grouped Edwards in with the superstars on our team because I thought he was going to take the next step. But if you watch tape on Bryan Edwards and if you look at his play style, I think it's pretty evident that he's pretty much Davante Adams. Now hold your horses. I'm not saying he's as good as Davante. I didn't say that. I just said he has the same play style. Now, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube and articles stating, oh my God, the Atlanta Falcons, they stole Bryan Edwards from the Raiders. It's a highway robbery. How about let's pump the brakes a little, okay? I'm pretty sure most of the people that made those videos didn't even know who Bryan Edwards was at all until he got traded yesterday, and now they're chomping at the bit to make fun of the Raiders, or not even make fun of the Raiders, but take a shot at the Raiders for making a trade that's a little bit random, even though it does not feel like Gruden at all. What it comes down to is that Bryan Edwards is the same type of receiver as Davante Adams, and that archetype is possession wide receiver. Back shoulder fades, high pointing the ball, slants where you're covered, and you got to throw it low, and you got to go down and get it. That is Bryan Edwards' play style to a T. Their speed is very similar, their frame is very similar, their stats when they were younger are very similar. They have similar archetypes. And the problem is, when you trade for the best receiver in the league, who is a possession receiver, that archetype goes into wide receiver 1. Now Bryan Edwards isn't your wide receiver 2 because it doesn't fit the offense. He's not the slot receiver, he's not the go guy. He is a possession receiver that now has to wait to develop because he's under the best receiver in the league, Davante Adams. So as soon as we traded for Davante, we knew we had to reshape the offense to get the speed guy that we lost in Henry Ruggs. Edwards is not that guy. They bring in someone like Demarcus Robinson or Keelan Cole, who is not the fastest guy in the world, but can still stretch the field to put the offense together. And Bryan Edwards just didn't fit in the Josh McDaniels offense. I do not believe they traded him because, you know, he had a bad attitude. There was no inkling of that. I don't believe they traded him because they thought he was a bad player. I think they traded him to a team like the Falcons where he has familiarity with the quarterback, where he can grow and develop as maybe one of their top wide receivers. I think they did him a solid with this trade, and I'm happy for him, and I hope he does really great things in Atlanta. But as far as it goes with the Raiders' offense, I would not panic when it comes to reacting to this move. People are quick to say, uh-oh, it's Gruden 2.0, it's not Gruden's guy. This is not that. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler knew the second they traded for Davante, they wouldn't be able to hold on to Bryan Edwards because he's just the same archetype, and his development would be stunted 3, 4, 5, however many years Davante's on this team, because he's going to be under Davante. Now, of course, you could say, well, wouldn't you want to have 2 Davante Adamses on your team? Sure, but if you could mold the offense to fit Derek Carr's skill set and get him 1 possession receiver, 1 elite route runner in Hunter Renfro, and then a stretch of field guy like Demarcus Robinson or somebody else that we might sign. Who knows? I think that's the way to go. Bryan Edwards, I wish you nothing but the best. You're a good dude. You're a solid player. I think you're going to see a lot of success in Atlanta. If you guys have other Raider topics or NFL topics you'd like me to make videos on that come out every Wednesday, comment below. Let me know the topics that you have in your mind. I will take those topics, and if I think they're good enough, I'll make them into videos. I'll give you, the person who gave me the idea, credit before the video, and we're going to do it every Wednesday. Next week is going to be record prediction. The week after that is going to be playoff predictions. And then after that, I need topics to talk about. If nothing happens, you guys can be the vessel for the topics that come out of my mouth. I'll give you credit. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you, and just win, baby.